What is intimacy? It's a big subject, but to get to the point, intimacy means when two people become one so that they never feel alone in the world. I've been doing marriage counseling for a long time. And I got used to the idea that there are some couples who don't like each other. And when people say, we're working on our relationship, oh, you mean you don't like him? Talk straight. They don't like each other. And you got to do something to bring them together and make a ceasefire and a temporary peace and maybe hopefully a long-term peace. But okay, I got used to that. People have their own opinions, people have their own personalities, and they don't always match. But recently, like the last 4 or 5 years, there's something else going on that's more disconcerting, more worrisome. Happily married couples, successful marriages, no complaints, and yet when you talk to them individually, they will say, I feel alone in the world. It's a terrible feeling. But if you're married, how is this even possible? What do you mean you're alone? You have this nudnik. You're not alone. Try doing what you want to do and you see what happens. There is another person in your life. Why are you alone? And the only answer I could come up with is, they live in the same house and they share many interests and many pleasures, but they haven't become one with each other. And if you haven't become one, you're still alone. There's still just you. Like the comedian says, what does it mean, a single guy? I'm a single guy. What does that mean? You don't have a twin? What does it mean to be single?
No partner. You don't have a partner?
But the problem is, there are people who have a partner and they're still single in their feeling. They still feel alone in the world. And it turns out that feeling alone is a danger, a health hazard. Because when you feel alone, your entire enthusiasm for life gets weaker. Your immune system gets weaker. And then you're vulnerable. That's why married people, statistically, live longer. Because they're not alone. When you are alone, you're weak. Now that's a strange thing, by the way. This is a purely Jewish subject. Why is it that if you're alone, you're miserable? Why? People say, if you're lonely, join a club, go to a party, be sociable. The problem, of course, is, what do you do at the end of the party? You realize how alone you really are. So we have to make a little distinction. There's a difference between lonely and alone. Lonely, if you're feeling lonely, go to a party. Go have some fun. But parties don't help if you're feeling alone in the world, because what happens after the party? So loneliness is not the problem. Aloneness, much worse. Two lonely people get together, they enjoy. Misery loves company. I'm lonely, you're lonely. Okay, let's party. But alone is alone. You don't share aloneness. So what's the solution? If marriage is not solving that problem, something is missing, something very fundamental is missing in the marriage. When you do make a true bond and you really become one, then even if one of the spouses passes away, the surviving spouse will be lonely, but will not feel alone. Because you have a spouse, they're just far away. So you are lonely because you miss the person who you are married to, and therefore not alone.